And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Dimas Tollinchi, who after serious injuries started seeing and communicating with UFOs, which we're going to talk about and look at today. Dimas, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me. I appreciate it.
Dimas, let's start on the day that your injuries happened.
Yeah, that was in about 2015. I had life changing injuries. You know, I was almost dead. I almost died, and it was a dramatic experience. But I noticed after that experience, I started to see different orbs. You know, at first it'd be some lights, sometimes it'd be orbs, other times it even looked like a craft, or what people call UFO or UAP, you know.
Can you tell us about the actual injury yourself and were you out of body or something?
On that particular day, I definitely was out of body because I didn't wake up till about 2 days later from the original incident. And that was after 2-3 major surgeries in the hospital. So what I remember is when I was targeted, I was part of a robbery. Jewelry and money was taken from me off person, and I was pistol whipped and I was beaten very bad. And in that instant, you can feel kind of your life leaving you. So much trauma from blows and pistol whips and weapons and getting hit with different feet and kicks and different things. You can feel kind of yourself losing, energy, losing anything you have in you. And it came to a point where I got hit with the gun and I was no longer where I was. In an instant, I seen myself in an aerial view, kind of like if you do a Google search and you come down on that search and you zoom into the map to see whatever you're looking at. I seen it from, I was close to it, but I seen it from like an aerial view where I became like someone watching a movie or a TV show, it seemed like, but I didn't see myself in it. For some reason, I wasn't part of that little scene that I was being presented. And I kind of saw a brutal attack, but I didn't know who was getting attacked or what, you know? So at that point, I knew that I wasn't there, but I knew that I wasn't seeing me that was really there, if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The next thought I had was, this is horrible. And why would someone do this to somebody? These are the thoughts because, again, at that moment, in that second, I didn't know that it was me that was underneath that pile that I was watching. So it kind of gave me a look, an unbiased look on the situation. Like, oh, why would someone do that to somebody? Why? What are they doing? Why are they doing that? Not knowing that it was me involved in that situation. So I thought that was very interesting. And a split second after that, I saw that scene, and then I saw kind of like I didn't see no craft or anything, but I seen colors. You know how when you get hit in the eye or you bump your eye or get hit and you see the little stars and things like that? I didn't see that. When I got finally knocked out after the 8th, 10th time getting pistol whipped, I didn't see stars. I saw a slow glowing, circular, oval colors changing, but it looked like electricity. And then it also looked like streaks of light running past. It didn't necessarily look like any sort of form because it changes. And then I woke up in the hospital 48 hours later, let's say. 24 to 48 hours later is when I woke up. And Right when I came to, it felt like I kind of jumped into myself, because you got to remember, when my jaw was broken, that was part of the damage that happened: the nose, the jaw, the orbital bones, body parts, the legs, the knees, the back, the ribs, all these different parts. All that damage happened during the incident. But me inside did not know that that happened to me. I wasn't there for it. See, the beating was happening to the physical, but I wasn't there. If somebody asked me, how does it feel to get almost the shot and the bullets and the guns and the damage and the kicks and the punches and all these different things, how did it feel? And my honest answer is, I don't know. I never felt it. I was not there for the physical pain of it. I got a chance to see the action taking place from above it. And it's, I know it sounds a little silly, but it was kind of, I didn't realize my pain until 2 days later when I woke up and my jaw was wired shut. My mom was there, and I think my sister was there. And when I came to, I didn't even know that I was through surgery wired up this. So I tried to talk. When I finally came and my eyes opened up and I tried to talk, no, I went crazy. They had to get the nurse and they had to actually give me a sedative to make me fall asleep, because I didn't know what happened to me whatsoever. Usually when you're in a physical altercation, I've been in many of fights. I come from some of the worst neighborhoods in New York City. I've been in many fights, but usually, oh wow, I got hit there, that he got me good, or I got this, or I felt that, or wow, he hit me here. But it wasn't like that. I wasn't present for the physical that took place. And when I did finally come to 2 days later or a day and a half later, I didn't even know what happened to me. I didn't even know why I was wired. I was more scared because I was like, this body, does it work? Is it work? What's going on? What's going on? You know what I mean? So that's a little bit into that.
What happened to you is kind of like what happens to my near-death experiencers. Some of the times right before a person gets injured, they pop out of their bodies, like right before they get run over by a car or falling off a horse or something, and they don't experience it. And to me, it's basically that's the same thing that happened to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I think personally, what made me think that the most was waking up and not knowing. The only reason I know the story is because it was presented to me, besides for that aerial view that I got to see personally. So I didn't even know what happened. I got to see a small glimpse into it without me even involved in it. I got to see the whole escapade without no, how can I say, main character, which was me in reality. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I seen that play out, it was more fake to me, or watching a movie, than reality. And then 2 days later, I feel the reality and see it in the mirror. You know what I mean? So I agree that I wasn't there. I can't even tell you how one punch or kick or pistol felt, because I wasn't there for it. I really wasn't.
When you saw that glowing orb with electricity, do you think that was something separate from you that you were seeing, or do you think that was you?
When I seen it, it's just surrounded around you. And it's not like we see any sort of thing here. Everything was picture Christmas tree, and picture the bulbs on a Christmas tree, and that's where you see all around you in slow movement, you know. And then you also get kind of like a flat light, like an electricity. It's like a flat light, you know what I mean? It's like like a shock, and it just sends it, and then it reappears, and then sends it, and it kind of flattens out like a line.
Mm.
It's like a line of light.
I guess what I'm getting at is that possibly when we're out of body, we're energy form. So do you think that's what you were seeing was yourself as energy, or there was another energy being next to you?
I didn't see myself as energy, but I can feel energy. Everything. It's not that you can see it, it's you can feel energy all around you. It's like being around. It's like you're in the middle. It's like you're in the middle of like the calm of a tornado of the eye. It's like it looks like madness all around you, but it's a calm in that madness. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just it was right after me seeing that situation that was taking place. It was right after that is when I got to see those lights and the electricity and the orbs, let's say, or that's when that was the moment right before I feel I woke up in the hospital. That was like the last before I feel like I was one with myself again. And I woke up from the hospital from being unconscious. I'm back. You know what I mean? That was the very last thing, just seeing a bunch of energy, lights and orbs just moving and floating, changing shape, flattening out the whole time all around me. And it felt I was there. It felt fast, but it felt slow at the same time. Like everything was just slow motion, but it was fast.
After this experience, you've started seeing orbs. Has any other abilities turned up in your life?
Ever since that happened, and it's nowhere else besides for where I live at. Previous to the home I live in now, and previous to the one before that, it started a few years back. I want to say closer to 2020. I always felt like I've seen things, but it wasn't until after that near death experience is that I got to see something, and then I got to see it in real life to validate what I saw. And I started to see these crafts, and it was always outside my house, always when I was at my car right outside my door, and it would always hover above me but in front of me, so like it like right here, so I can like see it. So it's above me but it's in front, so I can see it. And at first it wouldn't let me record. It would be difficult to record because of the speed and the movements and how fast, and at first I thought it was lightning. There's been times where I thought it was even lightning. It wasn't until I started recording and I started to put my recordings on my iMovie app. And iMovie, if anybody's familiar with that, it allows you to put turtle mode, and you can drop your movie all the way down to turtle mode, and it spreads your video out larger, and it gives you a slow little movement, so you can see glimpse by glimpse in between seconds. So I did that, and I would blow up the image, and I started seeing different things. So I said to myself, now I want to record it, because at first I wouldn't really care. It was more a cool thing. And then I said to myself, now I want to record it because I want to see what it really looks like up close. And no one gets a chance to do it, or very rare, because I wanted to validate if it's what I've seen in my near-death experience when I had my accident. So it was more like proving something to myself. Like, is that what I saw? No way. Is that what I saw? Let me find out. So I noticed at first I was being evaded. It was so fast that I can barely get a dot on the screen, and I could barely zoom into it, because by the time I zoom out on my iPhone, it moves somewhere else. So I got to unzoom and then try to get it again and zoom back in. So I said to myself, why can't I get a decent video? Then one day I was outside my house again, and by the way, all these things that I'm talking about, the little footage that I get, the things I have available to show, to show your fans and to show the people here that love the channel. And I have videos, this whole process that I've been doing, and I've been kind of experimenting. I've been kind of experimenting myself, trying to get the right image and trying to get the right pixels and trying to get the right things so we can see it clearly. And I'm willing to share with everybody today. But what I did was I started to talk to it. Not saying that I had a conversation like me and you are having, not whatsoever, but self-consciously or out loud, very quietly to myself. But, I would say, let me see you. I see you. I already know you're all right. And I would kind of like try to talk to it like I would talk to you if I was trying to make you feel better about something. Or if I was trying to get, asking you, hey, could we do this, Jeff, Mr. Marva, could we do this? I was doing that. And I was like, I know you're there. I see you. It's okay. It's cool. I was acting, like what other people would call crazy, but I just did it. I would do it. And then what I was doing was, as soon as I would see something, I always grabbed my camera. And I was like, how would I feel if, a lot of celebrities feel this? How would I feel if every time I walk here, or I drive here, or I come here, or I land on the plane at the airport, there's cameras waiting for me every step on every move without even saying hello to me? Oh, Mr. Tollinchi, how you doing? Everything's all right. You cool? Do you mind if we do an interview, or do you mind if we get some footage here? I thought about it in that way. I said, you know, what if it's a respecting? What if it's like, that's all I want? So I said to myself, let me not record. Let's test it out. I seen it. I was in my car and I stood in my car. I even have the footage of me sitting in the car with the phone on my lap. And I'm just sitting there and with not trying to record out the window, not getting out the car. I'm just sitting there and I'm watching. I'm just watching and I'm saying what I just said that I was saying to the thing. I see you. It's okay. Don't go nowhere. Just stay there. Just stay there. And I talked to it. And that's exactly what it did. When I get out the car and I start saying, oh my God, it's a UFO, bro. It's crazy. Oh my God. It gets out of view. It kind of like, it shows me something like I'm letting you. I feel like it's the orb or the craft or whatever it is allowing me to see it. It's letting me do so. And when I start to, it's probably like a thing in my head, cocky. I'm saying to myself, I can't believe I'm getting this. This is crazy. Like, even when I don't say it out loud that you can hear on camera, the very thought is stronger than me saying it. So inside me recording and like, I got it. This is crazy. I'm really saying these things in my head. And when I do so, it gets out of frame or it takes off. Once I say, oh man, like it's kind of like I messed up feeling. It comes back. It's kind of humbling. I've even said, make a face, change shapes. Because if you're not open-minded, anyone else with a sealed mind would say, oh, this is games. Come on, we're not kids. This guy's 32 years old. Let's stop that. No, it's not about that. If you open your mind, sometimes the things that you can create with that very mind are unbelievable. And I feel that it has changed things when I have said it. And again, I have footage. I'm going to show all originals. And then I have the slowed down footage and the blown up footage so that we could see the video up close so we could get solid matter and we could get solid images and different things of that nature. And I also had photos that I screenshotted. And I even have the very the bottom of the track there of when I did my iMovie, the stem on the bottom, I have it, how I'm going piece by piece in between seconds to get these images to pop up on screen and then blow them up so we can all see them and things. So I think that's interesting. And I want to share it with, with your audience and things.
How soon after your injury did this start happening, as well as can you tell us what was going through your mind the very first time it did happen?
It was about, I want to say it was 4 years after was the first time. It was 2019 was the first time that I saw it briefly, very quickly. I didn't think nothing of it. It wasn't until 2020. It wasn't until 2020 where I, uh, I really started to see them. And and another thing that I didn't mention earlier, um, I tend to see them when I mentally get off of what the purpose of my life is, which I'm starting to learn in the last few years. You know, I'm a published author of the crime fiction story Love, Money, Greed. You know, it's available in all online bookstores. And every time I get off my purpose in life or the reason I chose to be here, I'm showed a sign, and those signs are those orbs. For example, the things that happened to me in my past with my incident was because I was a hustler, and not the legal one at that. And every time I ever thought negative as far as, wow, do I miss when I had $50,000 cash? Do I miss when I make $10,000 in 2 days? Boy, do I miss having 100. Boy, do I. When I do these things, I never went back to that lifestyle since 2015. So it's almost been a solid almost 10 years now. But every time I even get an innocent thought of missing the money or the lifestyle or what I had obtained, these are when I get those signs. And to be honest, that the some of the videos I'm going to show you, the time I was in my vehicle, I was just sitting there and I was having a smoke, to be honest, and it was one of those rough times. It was one of those times that I said, "Wow, do I miss when I had this?" Or it was so much easier when I did this, and you know, life was so much this when I did this. Every time I get into that type of energy or that type of mindset, that's when they appear.
Do you think it's possible that this is a spirit guide or an angel looking after you?
Me personally, my situation, I think that something. All right, this is me only. This is, you know, I think that I was shown that the only reason I remember that party of people killing somebody, beating on somebody, was because that guide or that energy that was showing me this was showing me, if you continue to live this lifestyle, you cannot accomplish your real reason to be there. And now I'm giving you a one time get out of stupidity free. You know what I mean? Like it was like, dude, it kind of had to pull me and tell my soul, did you forget, man? If you continue to do this, your mission is incomplete and done. It's over. Did you not remember what you wanted? That's how I felt. I felt that that was a week. I never sold drugs again. I never broke the law. After that, it was. I even live. I'm so careful now because I feel like I have a purpose that I need to fulfill, whether it's small or large. It is a purpose, and I need to fulfill it. And those are like one of the things that can make me fail my quest. And I was about to fail, and I was kind of pulled back, or I went, and in an instant, I was awake 2 days later. Like I'm back in that in my body that I wasn't in for 2 days. My mother would tell me that she'd pray and she'd pray and she'd pray. And my mom, actually told me, I know that you weren't there because when you were, I felt it. And I woke up an hour later when my mom said that she felt me back. An hour later, I rose. My mom said, I know you weren't there. Yes, your body was there, but from the touch, from the feeling, the energy that my mom gets from me for 32 years now was not present. And this from my mother. This is before, and my mom to this day doesn't even really know what I'm saying to you. I really said it to her another way, like, Mom, Mom, they killed me. The first thing I said when I arose, and I'm wired shut, so my pattern of speaking is like this, because I was wired shut. My jaw, all this was broken. So the first thing when I came to and I opened my eyes was, Mom, they killed me. Mom, they killed me. And I didn't even know my mom was there. My mom wasn't in my life like that she would be like, I lived in another state from my mom. You know what I mean? I grew apart from my mother because I chose to live a different life than what she raised me. My mom was a teacher for 32 years straight. This year's her retiring year, and it was a whole nother lifestyle. This is why I know that me doing what I was doing wasn't my mission, because it's not part of my life. If you meet me and you're around me, you'll be like, you weren't that. There's no way. It's like two different people. My mom didn't even recognize it. So in that instinct, I realized that I was on a pattern that wasn't my purpose. You see, we can all have a purpose in life, a genuine soul purpose, but that doesn't mean you have to follow that pattern. You know what I mean? And that was my wake-up call in 2015 when I was shown that that is not your way. I'm showing you right here, right now, it is not your way. Look how it looks. Look at what happens to people that live this way, and you will die. You did die. Now, what do you want to do? Are you going to go back and follow your soul plan? Or are you going to go back and get caught up? Because in doing a little research and listening to a few of your videos as well, just yesterday, I think that this place, Earth, this where we're at, I think it's so corrupting and so draining and so gravity as far as how much it can suck you into it, that you lose your soul purpose. And when you do, you're capable and liable to do anything. And you're capable and liable to really bring to light all things in life that are horrible. You know what I mean? Because there's a plan in motion. Each individual different. But once you get off that road, it's a dark place, because not even your soul can get out of that place if you allow it to get that far. There's no coming back for it. So it's a finicky situation. So I think that in life, you have to find your purpose. And the reason that I say this is the most powerful thing in life, and if it wasn't, then why from youngin' does our parents, does our teachers, does the government, does everyone in our lives ask us this? What are you going to do with your life? Where are you going to go? How are you going to live your life? What are you going to be in your life? Everyone self-consciously says it every day. We all came with already a purpose. This is why our soul is stronger than this. Everyone has their purpose, and everyone doesn't realize that this is the time to go on your journey and to fulfill your purpose. And this is why subconsciously everybody in the world asks those questions. There's not one human being that hasn't been asked that question. Not one. What is your purpose? Even our parents, what's your purpose? What's your purpose? The reason we ask each other this is because our souls made the same, how can I say it? We all came up with the same idea. We're going to make up a life. We're going to see it through. And this is what we're going to do. So we're all reminding each other about what we originally did, that original goal we set out. That's why we innocently asked each other, what are you going to do when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? What are you heading in life? What are you doing? We ask these things because the soul in each every one of us knows that that's the number one reason we're here. And no one realized that. They just think you're asking someone a question. That's soul to soul. We're helping each other remember our reason. People don't realize that. Why it's the number one thing everyone's going to tell you in life. And it's when they get their most serious. Do you notice? What are you going to do with your life, Jeff? What are you going to do? Are you going to waste it? That's because our souls, some people say it different. Some are more mean about it. Some parents are more strict about it. Some, everyone's different, but do you notice how everyone does it? There's not one person in this world that doesn't think about what they are or say to themselves when they're by themselves, what am I going to do in this? What am I doing with myself? Why am I here? Am I going to be an author? Am I going to be a lawyer? The reason everyone has that from youngin' and confusion and that mystery in their mind is because the soul already knows. We just don't. You understand what I'm trying to say, Jeff? It's because it's our constant reminder. It's like my soul telling you, hey, Jeff, you remember, buddy? It's indirect, but it's saying, do you remember? What are you going to do when you get older? Jeff, what's your purpose in life? How are you going to live? How are you going to, what are you going to do? That is that soul. We're all in it together. Some of us even planned it together. Some of us even literally in committee, helping each other one by one, focusing, all right, today's Jeff. We've been studying for 5, 10, however, there's no time, but all right, Jeff, we're doing 1 year old right now. All right, we're doing 2 years old. We're doing 3. Check this out. I told you when we were making your plan, at 3, I want to incorporate me with you. At 3, we're going to meet. We don't know what we do in another dimension. We don't know before the soul traveled and chose the body what's going to happen. We don't know. So self-consciously, the soul that knows, it's telling each other, hey, what you're gonna do. And that it's not that they want to know, it's trying to remind you, did you remember? Did you remember the plan? Wake up, remember it. You're off track. And some people never find it, some people find it. And it wasn't until 2015 when I found my purpose. And it wasn't drug dealing. It wasn't being a hustler. That was the thing that I did to keep me off of my real purpose. That's what happened. Sometimes the life we're living is the problem. That is the monkey wrench that they threw in the motor. It's you're doing the opposite of your plan. Now, since I found out what was the opposite, now I do the counter. And my life has been the best it's ever been. And with less money, yes, I do great. Legal, everything legal. It's beautiful. I'm a published author, professional author. My book sells all over the world, Love, Money, Greed. And I figured it out. And now that lifestyle that I lived, I put it into an art form. I turned it into a novel. And I put a strong message in the book. So that way, no one ever has to get taken off their path if they can understand a piece of literature like mine. You understand, kind of explaining my whole life without them having to go through those trials and tribulations, to kind of avoid and evade that lifestyle. So That's what I did.
Let's take a look at some of those videos.
This video here is the first video that I took after I was looking out the story I told, looking out the front, and I didn't record right away. I kind of try to let it get comfortable with me before I stepped out the car and let it record. Let me hit play here. These are all different videos here that when I got out the car, it ran away from me there for a second. Then I got it back in view. And I can also pull up right here. Look, I can make it bigger for you guys. Look, there you go. Let me make a video bigger. You can see it more clear. Okay. It's another one. As you can hear the crickets, I'm right outside in my parking lot. Let me blow it up for you guys here. The image.
It's crazy.
It changes colors, shapes, and some of the footage that I'm going to show you as well. There's more here. Yep, this was at 9:30. Put this out of the way here. Okay, let me pause this one here. Okay, guys. So what I just showed you right there, those are a video in my parking lot when I stepped out of my car. Now the one I'm going to show you now is a whole entire new. This is the first time that 2020 experience that I told you about, and I was with a friend. The friend is Puerto Rican. He only knows Spanish. He was so shocked that all he could say in Spanish was kind of like cusses and that's not an effing plane. That's not an effing plane. And you can hear me saying, guys, I know there's lightning, but this isn't lightning. And you can hear all the actual footage of us speaking right there. Okay. As you guys can see, it's dots that come in, red, blue, yellowish dots. It's hard to see, but you see it very faint.
Guys, look. It's a tripod.
When I said it's a tripod, it left from screen.
Holy shit.
And I said, holy S, and then my phone shut off. Once I said it's a tripod, it turned into a tripod shape. And once I acknowledged that,
I know there's lightning, but I'm talking about this. Look, follow. You see that? This is Dimas Tollinchi. Guys, look. It's a tripod. Look, I'm gonna get it.
This here is more footage. I took the 19-second video and the videos that I showed you of me stepping on the side of my car and slowed it down. This was that video you seen originally. I slowed it down so everyone can see the shapes and sizes that it changes to. Look at that. Look at that. No man-made aircraft can change color, size, shape at that level, at that speed. I couldn't believe it, guys. Look at this. This is it blown up. And this is me literally trying to hold it in screen. I'm trying to hold it in my screen slowly so that it can stay. Let me go to another one. Let me go here. Look at that, guys. And you see the colors. This is what the young lady that was on the lady that was on your podcast, Vena, she said that she's seen something of this nature. And that was interesting. Blow it up here. Look at that. Look at that. That's what this hovers over me, guys, for the last 8 years. Look at it up close, even bigger. And then I'm gonna take you through all. Look at the faces. Look at the faces it made, guys. Look at that. This is what I'm trying to tell people. This is me screenshotting. This is me in my phone going clip by clip, second by second, just so you guys can see as it's changing those shapes and colors that you saw live. It even makes faces. It looks like two eyes, a nose, a head in those instances. And this is everything I wanted to share with everybody. And the reason I don't post this on Twitter, Instagram too much is because, you know how people are and things of that nature. So I say to myself, you know what? I'll keep it to myself and to whoever's interested. Look at that face, guys. This is the craft, guys. This is the craft that hovers over me and lets me see it change shapes and sizes and reappear and appear.
When you see it at night, how far away from you is it?
It's only 100 feet, 150. It's probably farther because, like, to us, when we look up, we think something that's farther is close, but it's not more than 200 feet or 200 yards or 100 yards, a football field up, or 200 yards. It's right above me, but it doesn't get like on top of my head. It gets in front of me where I can look up above me and see it in front. It always gives me a show. Just like the video with the Spanish guy, you see how it's not direct above my head, but it's above me, in front of me. So it's like pure in front of me, like looking at me. Like in a vertical angle, if you was to take your hand and put it straight up, that's what it would look like. And wait till I show you guys the pictures. Wait till I show you guys the pictures. Do you see that? This is all. Look, that's what the lady said. This is what that lady was talking about. When it flatlines, that's what that lady was talking about. Look at that. When it flatlines and it just turns into like this line. Let me see if I can get it again here. Okay, this is where it flatlines. Okay. This is what the lady on your podcast was saying. She said some of them spread out thin and they're flat. That's what it does. This is what made me reach out to you. The lady described the orbs and the shapes and the colors to the T. Exactly what I see, she described. Look at that. Look at that look at that force. That seems like if you were next to that force, it would disintegrate you. It's just a massive force. Okay, guys, look at this. Now, this is the slow down video of me and the Spanish guy. I put it in my iMovie app. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that bad boy. This is what was following me and the Spanish guy. This is the video and I put it on super slow, as you guys can see on the bottom of my screen. You can even hear it that I have it on super slow. Hold on. You see that? Look at that. Look at that. That's the spacecraft following me and the guy. Look. I'm going to let you guys see the whole video. But look, I had to put it on turtle mode and blow up the image so you guys could see the craft that was following me and the Spanish guy. Let me run it back here and let it run. Look I had to put it on super turtle mode, blow up the image, bring it up to the screen so that you guys can see the image that me and that Spanish guy were looking at when it was popping up all around us, all over us. When we were like, oh my God, guys. The reason you hear is because I slowed it down and it sounds like turtle mode. You could hear the night sky, you would hear us talk. And look, there it popped up again. Look. This is that red, green, blue lights that are popping up. I had to put it in my iMovie app so you guys could see clear imagery, clear pictures and videos. It's like I've never seen before in this world. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. I also noticed that it only comes when the sky is pitch black. Not one star in the sky. Only pitch black outside. If not, it will not appear. It does not appear when there's stars. When I talk about it or play with it, it'll leave. When I unhumble myself, it'll leave. When I start to, like they say, feeling myself, it'll leave. Now, let's go to the photos. Look at the photos of the video of me by myself outside the car. These are stills. Remember that face we talked about? Look at the lines, the streaks that the lady was talking about, that some of them are like that. These are photos, still photos of the video with me and the Spanish guy. So the one with me and the Spanish guy, these are the photos to that video right here. This is the objects that were in front of me and that Spanish guy. That was the spacecraft that was flying above me. This is how it looks. When you blow it up, slow the video down. Look at all the different photos. I thought it was amazing. I never seen nothing like this in my life. Look at this. This looks like even like the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars, if anybody's familiar with that. It has kind of like the oval indent inside of it. You can see kind of like the shape of it. This was the most intriguing to me, this one. You can see the spacecraft the best on this one, I feel. Look, this is when it comes back and then it disappears and it comes back. These are all different photos that I got from the still images. Look at this here. All these are from my videos that I put in my iMovie app, and we got the still photos for. Guys, this is during the day. My car was parked right here. So my driver door was probably about right here. So I got out the car, I stepped up to here, and I put my phone like this, and I went right up like that. And then I followed it right here. This is the date. This is how it looks during the day. This is where it's at right here. It hovers right above my car. Like I said, my car is here. There's a better explanation. My car is here. It hovers right in front of me right here. That's what it does. So it's not above my head, but it's right in front of me above. This is the area right here. This is where I see them.
Can you call this UFO to you anytime you want to?
To be honest with you, okay. There's probably a possibility that that can happen, but I don't know how to do it. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying that that's far-fetched, but me personally, I don't know how to do it. I understand one thing. Whenever I'm in a certain mind frame, it appears. And it's mostly when I start to get upset about, and I'll be completely honest with you guys. Guys, I was rich. You understand? And you know, it was difficult going from living a 6 or 7 figure lifestyle to normal, which is not even normal, because I live an amazing lifestyle now and I have all legal businesses. But I was so used to having disposable income where I can spend so aggressively that it took literally this 8 to 10 years since then to really train myself to not be like that. You know what I mean? And there's times where I say to myself, oh wow, I would have bought this house if I didn't have, like, when I was doing this, I would have had the money in a week. Or, you know what, I get into these mindsets that bring me back into the mental of that hustler that used to be in the street back in the day. Not that I want to do it or I'll ever do it again, but it makes me complain using that as my complaint, if that makes sense. Like, damn, I'd have the 20 grand. I wouldn't have to wait 6 months. I would have had it in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? That type of thing. When I start getting upset with myself like that, and I go out to have a smoke, and I'm starting like, damn, man, yeah, it's harder than it used to be, man. I used to be able to spend 20 grand and not think about it. Now to spend 20, I got to really say, oh my God, should I do it? So every time I feel like that, here he comes. Here it comes. It's wherever. Right when me and that Puerto Rican gentleman that was with me in the video, that you hear his voice patterns, then you hear clearly mine. Our conversation right before that was reminiscing about how much money he remembers I used to make. He was one of those people that knew me in that life and was kind of like, yeah, like kind of like you were the man type thing. that was the convo when I was in the neighborhood. Like, he's like, yo, I remember when you used to come, you used to bring it over here. You had the Rolls Royce, you had this, you had, I remember. So like, and then I was feeling good about what he was saying. I was feeding into it, like, yeah, that car was beautiful. I remember when I came around the block with that thing. You know what I mean? I was doing that, and I was liking it, and I was putting energy into what he was saying. And right here it comes. Same difference. I was upset because my finances were not the same as it was when I was a drug dealer. And right away, here comes that reminder. Like, did you forget that you came to visit us for a few when you were doing this idiocy and this craziness? Did you forget we allowed you or we opened your whatever so that you can understand what it is? And I take it as my get back on track, man. I take it as every time I'm in that type of mind or energy, I'm letting off that energy or speaking that into existence, that negativity, here he comes. It's right over me. I'm like, and again, to everyone else in the world, they would be so amazed that they lose their mind. Oh my God, they put it on Facebook. I'm so used to it. And because no one ever believes anybody, and because no one ever has the open mind, or because no one ever just looks at the footage. And that's why I appreciate you let me share the footage with the world. Maybe a few people will see it. These things are there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that your purpose now is to help people get off the street.
Absolutely. And that's what I did. I now speak in juvenile facilities and things of that nature. I do podcasts with different, with different people that were involved in that life. And I wrote an amazing book that many shout out to US Review and Pacific Review, Pacific Book Reviews and Egliberis. I've done many book reviews, and the feedback that I get from these reviews are epic. They said that my book is the New Jack City of the 21st century, and the reason that I did it was because of that situation and that situation only. I basically made a fiction story of my life in a fictional manner, of course, and so that people can understand what comes out of it, what is going to happen at the end of that story, what is going to be the end of your story. And without ruining the end of the book for anybody that wants to buy it, they can go anywhere that sells books, type in love space money space greed, love money greed, and on Google, Amazon, wherever you get it. And if you read the description of that story and you read that book, you will understand what led to this, out of body experience at the end. It was in a different way. It was in a different buildup than my physical life, but same structure, same end result, that you only get one thing at the end. And I don't want to say the end. And at the end, basically what happened to me happens to the main character. You're dead, but you're not. Are you gonna open your eyes and widen your mind, or are you not? And that my purpose is to write these novels, and I'm in 2 award shows as well. I'm in the Eric Hoffer Awards, and I'm in the Pacific Book Awards as well. And they say the finalists May 1st, in a few days just now. So I've been reaching out to a lot of people that said that they read my book and that they understand that you're only going to prison, or you're going to die, or you're going to go against your soul. And what I mean by against your soul is you here can have a battle with your plan. Your soul has your plan. Now, you're going to go through with your plan, or you're going to battle. And when you get taken out early, is because you either lost and your soul knows there's no way that I can fulfill. I must go and reincarnate again and try to fix it in my next go around, or you feel like you completed. But either way, I feel when someone leaves us, it's because they failed or because they passed. While you're here, you're taking the test. So you're not getting kicked out of the course because we don't know if you failed yet. And we don't know if you passed yet. So as of now, you're allowed here in the classroom. You're allowed to sit on the desk and you're allowed to take the course. You're allowed to take the test with everyone else. You got the time, 6 hours with everyone else. And either you fail. What happens when you take a test? You fail, you pass, or you quit. You get up, you hand the teacher the paper, and you say, I'm not taking it. I quit. I'm not doing it. Do what you must. And that's life. You pass, you fail, or you quit.
Dimas.
Those are the ways out.
Dimas, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you up for that? And if so, how should they reach you?
Absolutely. You can reach out to me to Dimas Tollinchi 89@gmail.com. That's DIMASTOLLINCHI. Dimas Tollinchi 89@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Dimas space Tollinchi, DIMAS space Tollinchi, like I spelled it out. And same goes for Twitter, Tollinchi Dimas. So last name first and then Dimas. And yeah, I also have a podcast, boxing podcast. That's called Authentic Boxing Media. So if anybody likes boxing, I talk boxing. I was a boxer in my youth. So, and I also have a book that I just released in July. It's Love, Money, Greed: The Rise of the Money Bag Boys. You can go anywhere, Barnes and Nobles, Kindle, Amazon, whatever you get books at, we have it. And look up Love, Money, Greed. I'll be sure to send you over, Jeff, a link so people can find my links and things like that, and the URL. So, and a small bio if you must. And yeah, I love to speak to people. I like to speak out to people that, you know, I like to speak to people from anywhere, but I know I can really help the youth in the inner cities, man, that think that they know what life is in that world, and they just don't. I wish they would pick up my book, Love, Money, Greed, and really read it to the end and really get that message in life from that book. There's no end result but negative there. There's none. And with this, I hope that I open some eyes and some ears, hopefully. And I'm actually excited that a few people that you had on the podcast have seen similar things, because to my knowledge, I was the only person to seen anything like that until I saw your show, sir, you know? Mm-hmm. And I didn't even really think of me having a near-death experience until you asked me on Twitter, until I reached out to you. And then you said, well, have you had this? I never looked at it like that, ever. No NDE ever has been in my mind. I was just a guy like, Ma, they try to kill me. That was my only thing. I didn't really think of what I saw in the instant when I left my body. I never thought of it, you know. You opened my eyes for sure on that, how I looked at that, because I had that. And the only person I told was my mother. You know, I haven't shared it with anyone, but I'm glad we got to share it today on JeffMara podcast. Be sure to subscribe to his podcast. Be sure to hit the like button and share the videos. It helps with the algorithms, guys. And he's been amazing. And he always lets people come up here and say their truth and speak their minds. And it's a beautiful podcast. And it's great to share these things for the world, guys. So be sure to share, hit that like button, smash it.
Thank you, Dimas. Before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
Yes, absolutely. Have an open mind. Listen to people, because you can learn something from anybody. You got to be willing to want to learn. Have an open mind. Hear people out. Compare and contrast. Share stories. Bounce ideas off each other. Network. Let's love each other. Let's not hurt one another. Let's do what's right. If you have a feeling inside you that you know deep down it ain't right, don't do it. Because that's the soul, that's the spirit talking to you. People think it's something else. It's you talking to you. And when you feel that, be great about it. Treat people how you want to be treated. Treat people beautiful, man. And let's all fulfill our purposes. Or let's try to find ours. Let's try to accomplish ours. But either way, let's keep striving for excellence and be great human beings, be great people, have a great soul, have a great heart.
Dimas, thank you for that message, and thank you for being my guest.
Thank you. I appreciate having it. To everyone watching, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for everybody in the comments. Have a great evening. Have a great day, depending on where you're at. Mr. Mara, I appreciate your podcast. This is the JeffMara podcast, guys. It don't get no better than this. You take it easy, Jeff.
Thank you, Dimas.
Have a good one, buddy.
You too. Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.